welcome, I am Zombie Kitty, and welcome to another, I was gonna say reaction video, but I guess vlog, FNAF 2 video. This is gonna be the reference and Easter eggs video for Five Nights at Freddy's 2 film. So, yes, this is gonna be filled with spoilers probably. If you have not seen Five Nights at Freddy's 2 yet, please go see it. Why haven't you gone to see it? No, I'm kidding. Please go see it, because I actually really enjoyed it. I went to go see it the second time, really enjoyed it. I'm still a bit iffy on the third act, to be honest. I'm still not entirely sure about it, because while I was cheering and like internally cheering, because we don't do that here in the UK, but while I was like internally cheering and like enjoying the third act, at the same time I was also kind of rolling my eyes, so I'm still a little bit undecided on that. I thought it would be fun to do a reference and Easter eggs video of stuff that I personally spotted in the film. So I don't know how long this video is actually going to be, because yeah, this is going to be based on stuff that I noticed during my second viewing of the film. So if there's stuff that I missed or didn't see, let me know in the comments. There is a couple of things that I've included that my friend noticed after I watched it the first time around and didn't notice myself, so I am going to give credit to them. So I do have my phone on me. It's got notes and stuff, I was writing the stuff down after I went to go see the film, so I'm going to be going off from there. So apologies if I'm doing sort of this and stuff occasionally, because I'm going to be looking at my notes. So Pop Goes and Candy the cat is in the opening scene, so I think it's like the second or third shot of the film, where it's back in 1982. You're in the original location and there's a row of arcade machines. On the side you can see Pop Goes, who is the weasel, and Candy the cat from Five Nights at Candy's. These are FNAF games that I think are actually canon within the Five Nights at Freddy's universe, so this is part of the FNAF fanverse. That was really cool to see, and the fact that it was pretty much at the start of the film, I really liked that they included that in there. This sort of brings in something I think I said about the first film. This really does feel very fan servicey, but I think in a good way. Like, this does include a lot of things that the fans will like. It does very much feel like, and the first film's like this as well with the references and stuff, it does really feel like it's a type of film that, you know, you notice something and go, oh look at that, did you notice that, you know, with your friends and stuff, which I quite like. I know that's the kind of film that it's going to be, so I quite enjoyed that. So I have realised my notes are a bit all over the place, so yeah, they're not going to be in order of appearance, because I've kind of wrote down that Dorco, 8-Bit Ryan, Razbowski and Baz are also in this film, so they have a bit more of a cameo in this film compared to the first film. In the first film they were just photos on a employee of the month board, which was only shown I think for about a split second before it got destroyed by the group that came into the restaurant and destroyed it. So I'm glad they've got a bit more of a cameo in this. Granted, it's not much, but it's more than a picture. 8-Bit Ryan and Raz are in the FazFest scene when Toy Freddy first gets to FazFest. You have the shot of Toy Freddy entering the festival, then it switches to a point of view of what he's looking at, and on the right you can see Ryan and Raz. I am really sorry that you're probably not going to get screenshots to prove this, because obviously the film is still in cinema, and unlike the first film, it wasn't released on a streaming platform at the same time, so I do apologise that you're probably not going to get screenshots with this at the same time. Sorry, you're just going to get me rambling. But Dorco and Baz were shown at the end. So it's the whole bit where Michael Afton comes in and says, you know, this is my big plan, this is what's going to happen, I want to continue my father's legacy. And when he says half of this town would be dead by morning, Dorco and Baz show up. Like, that's the shot that shows. So they're in it as well. On that same scene, I did notice a lot of people mention this when the trailer came out, and this particular quote was put in the trailer, but Michael saying half this town will be dead by morning. Don't you mean dead by daylight? I didn't write that down, but it was one that I did think of. This one I'd actually mentioned in my spoiler review because I was explaining Vanessa's dream sequence. but Circus Baby is the secret character in this film, and the one that I got spoiled on before seeing the film. And something I didn't notice until the second time I watched it is her eyes are green in the dream sequence. Now, this could be just a dream sequence, and actually in reality, in her real past, her eyes are blue. But if you remember from Sister Location, her eyes are green because Elizabeth has already possessed her. Because Elizabeth's eyes are green, Circus Baby's eyes are blue before she gets the soul. So there's theories that actually Circus Baby is already possessed at that point when Vanessa sees her. Now, my theory is that it's Garrett, who is Mike's brother. In the first film, Mike was trying to figure out who kidnapped his brother. We know it's William Afton now because he basically confessed at the end of the first film. But then the second film kind of just forgets all that and doesn't touch on it at all. So I do feel like, actually aside from the plane, which I didn't notice that Vanessa still has that. I didn't really clock that she didn't tell Mike that she still has that. Which, yeah, not great, Vanessa, really not good. You should have told him. Yeah, my theory is that Garrett is the one that's possessing Circus Baby. But I think they do need to address that in the third film. But it is really cool to see Circus Baby actually in this film. It wasn't something I expected when I first saw that picture of Dorco sitting down by this gigantic blooming statue. This thing was huge. So yeah, I wasn't expecting to see that at all. It is really, really cool that she's in this though. But yeah, I think that's what's going on. Like, that's my theory. I think if that was real and she does have green eyes in her past, that's Garrett. If not, then that was Vanessa imagining things in her dream. When Mike first goes into the FNAF 2 security office to find the trackers for the toys after they've got out, the first time he flashes a light down the hallway, Shadow Bonnie on the left can be seen. It's literally a blink and you'll miss it moment. But I immediately noticed that the first time I saw this. I was like, oh my god, they put that in there. And I kind of like that it's a blink and you'll miss it moment, because from what I remember, Shadow Bonnie, it's kind of the same thing in the second game, where it's like, it's very rare to get Shadow Bonnie in the game. But once you get it, you'll notice it. And yeah, I thought that was really cool, and a really cool way to incorporate that in there. It didn't really have anything to do with the plot, but to be honest, as far as I personally know, and maybe someone could help me out here in the comments, as far as I personally know, Shadow Bonnie doesn't really have any relevance to anything. It's just something that pops up sometimes in the game. So I did kind of like that this was the same thing here. Some people have noticed it, other people have thought they've noticed it and think they're going mad. No, it is in the film, don't worry. If you think you're going crazy, it's fine. He is in the game. Film, I mean. He is in the film. It's really, really cool. But yeah, it is literally a blink and you'll miss it moment. But it's when Mike shines the light the first time round in the security hallway, in the security room, and it's on the left. This did make me giggle, and I kind of got spoiled on this, but I didn't know what the context was or what the actual scenario was. But when Mike and Abby first go back to the FNAF 1 location, and he's trying to cheer her up after she is convinced that he'll fix the animatronics, he goes to cheer her up and goes to the prize counter. The first plushie he picks up is like a bootleg Freddy plushie. He squeezes his tummy and it goes ho 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 ho, which I thought was really funny. I did giggle at that because I wasn't expecting it. Like, again, I think I kind of got spoiled in it. It was I think it was a BlueSky post, and someone had drawn that scenario. But I didn't know it was music. They didn't write it down as a song. They just wrote down ho ho ho, and that was kind of it. So I didn't really know the full context, which I'm kind of glad about because I thought it was funny. But this is the thing, like, I like that it puts in references and Easter eggs that the fandom will know, or community will know, but it doesn't really impact on the plot line. It's just something funny that's there. And if you get it, you understand why Mike's like, oh, maybe not. If you don't get it, you probably just think, oh, he doesn't want to bootleg Freddy. which to be fair, that thing did look a bit weird. So Aunt Jane and Doug the lawyer make a return. This was really cool to see actually. It's a very, very short cameo and Aunt Jane is sort of mentioned in dialogue. The whole reason the FazFest happens is because after the first film, it turns out she didn't die, she did just get knocked out by Golden Freddy. And once she woke up, she started spouting to the whole neighbourhood, oh, I saw an animatronic and it looked like the Freddy pizzeria thing and blah blah blah. And she started blabbing to everyone. And this brought back interest into Fredbear's like pizzeria and essentially created FazFest because of this public interest and because of the town's interest. So I like that she was sort of mentioned in passing, and that's the whole reason why this whole event like exists. I thought that was kind of cool, and it was okay that she didn't really need to be in this film. There was a reason for her to be in the first film, not necessarily in this one. But it also kind of makes sense that she'd now want to stay away from Mike and Abby. Like, that does kind of make sense. After what happened with the first film, it does make sense. And again, it's very much in her character to blab to everyone and to try and, you know, make herself the centre of attention. This is very much a character trait in the first film. Again, yeah, Doug the lawyer was a fan favourite from the first film. And I like that he had a very, very brief scene. He just helped someone and that was it. And said, you know, after this, you might need a lawyer. Which I kind of liked. It was really cheesy, but I liked that he came back for this one, even if it was just for a small moment. The one that I did really like, and I hope they keep this as a running gag, Corey Kenshin is back as the taxi driver. And I really, really liked this scene because this was so funny. And again, I really hope they bring this back for the third film, because Abby once again has to get from one location to another, and she has Toy Chica with her. Oh, she's bringing Toy Chica to her school to make her pretend that she's the science fair project after her teacher destroys her actual project. So that's the context of that. So she's like, so the moment she's like, oh, how are we gonna get there? I was like, oh god, here we go again. Here we go again. You see Corey listening to Talking in Your Sleep, which is again from the first film, is the song that the animatronics sing in the first film, which I like again that they also reference back to that. But the moment he sees her, he's like, oh no, not you again. Toy Chica manages to fit into this taxi. By the way, that taxi is a blooming TARDIS. I don't even know how it managed to fit Golden Freddy in there in the first film. I mean, you know, I'm talking about this when there's actually haunted animatronics in the film. Like, I shouldn't question anything, but at the same time, it is really funny how they're just like, yeah, they fit in there, don't question it. It happens. But I like that he's like, no, we're not doing this again. In the same scene, Toy Chica gets into the taxi and her beak has fallen off. We know that Toy Chica has a beak, and then when her beak is off, it's this really horrifying mouth and black eyes, which they do in the film. I kind of wish she had been like that for a bit longer, especially in the third act. I wish the third act had actually been like that. But I don't know, I kind of liked it at the same time. It was really silly, and I don't know, I liked it. But yeah, she did look quite horrifying. They did a really good job with that. But yeah, I do kind of wish that she'd been like that for the third act. I think that would have also been kind of cool, because then you got the funny side of it, of her beak falling off and her not realising, and Abby helping. And then you've got the scary side later on of like, actually, yeah, this looks terrifying. The last one that I noticed personally, and then I'll get on to the two that my friend noticed, is from the marionette. So the marionette at one point says, I don't hate you, but you need to stay out of my way. Now, I can't remember if that's an exact Ultimate Custom Night line, or if it's like similar. I can't quite remember. Oh no, there's one more quote as well that I want to bring up that I can't remember if it's exact or not.
I don't hate you, but you need to stay out of my way.
She says that at some point, and that is from Ultimate Custom Night. The other one that happens is in the mid-credits scene. So I mentioned this is when the guys from FiveNightsAtFreddys comes in, and one of them is already in the back room and has found Springtrap. And he goes, I think he goes like, oh, we found a real one, which is very, very similar to Five Nights at Freddy's 3. In the beginning of the second night, he goes, we found one, a real one. So very, very similar. But yeah, I apologise, my memory's not always the best for this kind of stuff. But yeah, it's kind of cool that they brought those quotes back, which I quite like. And then the last two, which I did not notice on my first watch. I did not notice this. So one of my friends said that Toy Bonnie's voice is similar to FNAF AR. Again, I do like the we don't recognise MatPat's voice. I know some people have said that actually that shouldn't have been the case. I've seen some comments say, oh, if you're going to use MatPat, just get him to have his voice, to voice Toy Bonnie. I personally disagree because, like I said with the spoiler review, it would have completely taken me out of the film. Plus, he already used his regular voice for the waiter in the first film. So yeah, it would have taken me completely out of the film if he'd just used his own voice. Because I'd have just gone, oh, that's MatPat. Like, and it just would have ruined it. So I like that they gave him a different voice. But yeah, I didn't realise it was very reminiscent of FNAF AR and Toy Bonnie's voice in that one.
Did you actually think you could hide from me?
And then the last one, I did notice this on my second viewing. So the last one is when Mike is again in the FNAF 2 security office and Withered Freddy is about to get near him, and at one point he makes like the grabbing pose. I'll put a picture up on here, but it's the one that a lot of like news articles use when talking about Five Nights at Freddy's. I think it's when Mike puts up the mask and you can kind of just see through it. Which I also really like that. We had that POV as well, like in the game. I really, really liked that. That was really cool. So yeah, this is all that I have from Five Nights at Freddy's 2. But yeah, if I'd missed anything or if you noticed something, yeah, again, that I didn't, it'll be really cool to know. So yeah, put them in the comments because I want to know if there's anything I missed. I think chances are I'm going to go see this again. But yeah, I don't know how long this video is going to be, but I just thought I'd do a video on references and Easter eggs to do with Five Nights at Freddy's 2. Again, I really enjoy these films. Are they a bit silly? Yes. Do I have problems with both of them? Yeah, but I have fun. I think they're fun. But yeah, I'm going to end the video now. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you all soon. Bye!